and to stand up strong. Think the truth about themselves to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. Hi, y'all. Welcome to the show. It's amazing. You can get involved by calling 888-7753, 773, 888-77-JESSE, Jesse, Jesse. My biblical question for this week, the biblical question: what's going on the earth? What's going on earth? What is happening? It is a mess. What's going on? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show. jesseleepeterson.com/show. And if you're out and about doing what you're doing, wherever you are in the whole wide world, because we are heard around the world by everybody and their mama. If you're black, everybody and their mama. If you're white, everybody and their mama. Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's amazing. So if you're busy and you're not able to just sit and watch the show, land up at the beach. Some people over in Cancun land up at the beach. And it's beautiful. It used to be. It used to be beautiful over there, right? You can still be listening to the show. You can still be listening to the show. And you can podcast the show, so when you get back to your hotel room or you get home, you can listen to the show again. Watch it. By calling the listen line on TalkStream Live, you could be listening on your iPhone, iPad at 605-615-4131. 605-615-4131. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, and we're going to catch up on yesterday's Super Chats. But to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk or Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP Cash App. And again, if you want to jump in there are 2 lines open right now. You can jump in. And we're going to get to all of your calls. It is Thursday again. Believe it or not. The time is just, I don't know. Remember I said time doesn't even exist? Do you believe it now? Time is an illusion. Do you believe it now? That yes, we function on earth with something called time. It's time to get up. It's time to go to work. It's time to eat dinner. But time is an illusion. Isn't that amazing? But it just keeps coming and going and blah, blah, blah. It is Thursday. And though we talk to all people, Thursday we take the Bible Thumper calls and we spend a little bit more time with Bible Thumpers because we love the Bible Thumpers too. Bible Thumpers need love. And so every Thursday is Bible Thumper Thursday.
See, my family, we're not like regular churchgoers, but I know places like this are supposed to help you feel better, and that's really what I need. I did something terrible, and now I just feel like there's something wrong with me. I mean, really wrong, deep inside. I can't shake it. What do I do?
Who authorized women to teach? Jesus. It's not just for ordained men.
Nothing will make you more like Jesus than having compassion
That's right.
for others.
Self-control is my ability to enter into those tears, my ability to embrace that emotion.
He literally became a human and felt everything that we did so he could relate to us.
It's a whole new world, baby.
I bet it is, baby.
Well, thanks. I feel much better. Bye.
Nice. My amazing producer, you black, gave me a verse for you for today from Proverbs 3, 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Trust in God with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. If I hold my peace, and let the Lord fight my battle, then I know the victory shall be mine. Isn't that deep? Thank you, Mr. Producer, Derek. And he black. I saw a report this morning. They're having this little convention thing in Chicago, the Democratic National Convention, they call it. And so you have different reporters going around Chicago, I guess, area. And they're talking to the blacks and others, but primarily to the blacks, about who are they supporting this time around, Republicans or Democrats. Are they voting for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, right? And I saw this reporter talking to some blacks, and the blacks were holding pictures of their sons and daughters. And one guy had a picture of his father. And these people have been killed in gang violence, shooting and things like that. Some were... One girl, according to the mother, had overdosed on fentanyl. It was laced in some other type of pill she was taking or something she was doing at a party. And one woman had, according to her report, at least 2 sons that were killed by guns. And it wasn't the gun, but the people, the violence there in Chicago. And they were talking about why they were not voting for the Democrats at this time. They're not going to vote for the Democrats. And in essence, what they were saying, things that they were saying, is that the Democrats are not going to do anything for us. The Democrats have never done anything for us. The Democrats are not going to help us. And the Democrats this, the Democrats that. And they're right, 100% correct. I don't know what took them so long to realize it. The blacks have been supporting Democrats for at least 50 to 60 years, give or take. And they have not realized that the Democrats have just kept them on the plantation of the Democratic Party and used them for votes. And when it's time to vote, they throw them some affirmative action bread, DEI bread, and they keep them there. a feel-good thing, so they keep them voting. That's it. Nothing else is getting better. Even the DEI thing is not good for the blacks because they're getting something without earning it. And when you get things without earning it, it doesn't work for you. But they were complaining about how bad the Democrats have been, and as a result, they're not going to vote for this female, Kamala Harris. And one lady was crying about how bad things are for children. And then they would complain about how bad the economy is. It's funny, they talked to some blacks, and they just voted for Kamala Harris because she's a black female. They don't care. They can think of one thing she's done or will do. And so I was reflecting, listening to this and paying attention. And what I realized is that in my country, and I want my country back, it's not coming back, but I want it back. What's wrong with wanting it? But I also have sense enough to know that my country's gone. It's now a socialist controlled country. And once people get their hands on power, they're not going to let it go. You're going to have to, I don't know how you can get it from them. It's like when men and women start to work on themselves and they start to wake up. If one is not working on him or herself, the one that's not working on themselves, they feel the loss of control, the power they had or have over that man or that woman. And once they start to lose that, they attack. They add doubt. And they try to make you feel bad that you're now changing. You're not the woman I met or the man I met. And what they were saying in a code-like way, you're not letting me control you like I used to. I used to have control over you. And now you're changing. But instead they say, you don't love me. You don't treat me the way you used to treat me. I'm going to tell my family. I'm going to tell my friends. I'm going to tell my mama. I'm going to build an army against you. Anything to get back control. And they'll cry and lay down and fake death if they should lose that control over you. Well, that's how our government is. The government and the media and the people who have been controlling you forever in order to get power and maintain it over you, perceived power, but they call it power. And they're not going to let go. They're not going to help you, and they're not going to let go. You're going to have to break away. The government is a body of people. The media is a body of human. Just as you are a body of human. There's no different. Except for some people have been put in a position of power and they gone nuts with that power. It gives them a false thrill and they love that thrill. And they're not going to let that thrill go. Is you crazy? The government and the media and no one else is never going to help you. It's time that the blacks, the whites, and everyone wake up and realize that the government is compiled of a body of people, made up of a body of people who are evil just like you. They're no different. They are evil just like you, and evil people love power. That's why they fight. They fight for power and money. And they're not going to just give it up. You have to overcome, and they'll let go. You'll be free from them, even if they don't let go in their own mind. But the government is not going to help you, black people. They're never going to help you. It's not in their nature. They can't, just like you don't help anyone, the government's not going to help you. They lie to you. They appease your ego. Whatever they can do to get money and power, they would do it. Because they're controlled by the same evil spirit that you are. But their job is just called government. That's all it is. But they have the same spirit. Every human being has the same spirit. And every human being that wants to overcome evil must be born of good. You have to switch nature. You have to switch hearts. As long as you have anger in your heart, whether you admit it or not, know it or not, say it to yourself or not, Satan is your God, your daddy. You have his nature, and you're an evil, nasty, mean person. You are made to deal with the devil. And that's what the government does. It makes deal with the devil. And they promise the devil, if you give me more power and money, I'll continue to serve you. I'll keep the people down. I will lie to the people. I will pretend racism exists. I will pretend that I'm taking care of your children in daycare centers because I care about you, not because I want to control you. I want to have total control over you by giving you something. They're not going to say that. The government's not going to save you. They even serve the big demon, Satan himself. Because the more power you get, you need a greater demon over you to show you how to get more perceived power. They'll even start a war to get power, to gain money. They'll call together the military to figure out how can we make more money here? How can we get more power? How can we put fear in the people? Oh, I know. Let's start a war and let's get the people fighting amongst themselves and holding rallies and fighting each other in the streets. And while they're fighting, we're going to gain power and money over the people. I know. Let's create a disease to bring fear upon them, on the masses of people. Fear is our friend, they say. Fear is our friend. Let's use fear and anger to get them, to cause them to become afraid. And they'll stop going to work. And they'll stay in their homes. And they won't go on vacations. And then let's tell them, if anyone, your neighbor, should be caught outside watering the lawn, you let us know. And the master says, okay, because they are afraid. The government is not your friend. The government is your enemy, because your enemy love power too, just like you love power. I can prove that you love power. You fight. You fight one another. You curse out one another. You try to be a army against one another. You go for revenge against one another. You're jealous and envy and strife. Isn't it horrible that ever since the battle happened between God and Satan, that God threw Satan out of the kingdom and disassociated with him, that Satan has no love? And Satan is making a home in your body and causing nothing but misery for you. Fear and worry and emptiness and loneliness. and a desire and thoughts and emotions. And Satan has made a home in human form because it needs the pain. Evil, the spirits of evil need pain. And how do they get pain? They got to cause you pain. And the more pain and misery they can give to you, the evil spirits call it life. They love it. And they hate you. And they'll kick you while you're down. You can be on your knees crying because you have suicidal thoughts. And the evil spirit will kick you and tell you, you ain't nothing. Look at you. Take your life. You ain't worth living. Nobody care. Ain't nobody gonna miss you. You might as well take your life. They're speaking that to you inside of your mind and bringing on those emotions of fear and loss and blame and self-judgment. While the like mind, people of like mind, the children of the devil, they're organizing against you in the media and in the military and in our government. Why don't you see this and take control of your own life and stop relying on someone else to take care of you, to think for you, to do for you? Ain't no human being going to be able to save you. You can't even save yourself. Why do you rely on the government? It should never come out of your mouth what the Democratic Party going to do for me. Or the Republican Party. Republican Party not going to do anything for you. They're no different. They are human beings with evil spirits. And they tell you, move on over to the Republican Party. We love you. They're lying. The Republican Party believes racism exists. So when you move over to the Republican Party, now they got to tiptoe around you if you're black. They can't treat you the same. Because if they treated you the same, that means you got to do for you. You got to work. You got to earn your living. You got to pay your bills. You can't blame, right? You think the Republican Party going to be able to say those things to you? They'll say them out loud. They'll say, in order to be a patriot, you got to do these things. But they ain't going to tell you, you black people, you got to take care of yourself. Because they believe you're suffering from racism, which is not true. Every human being is possessed by the spirits of evil. And they're working you overtime to keep you from seeing who is in control. And it's never going to change. It's never going to change until this verse or these verses come alive to you. And they can be made, they can become life to you. Proverbs 3, 5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. You got to let go of everybody and everything. Even your children, your adult children. And even your young children in the right way. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. You got to stop listening to the devil and the devil children. Meaning that the people who are trying to teach you, whether it's the preacher, the Pope Mama, the Pope, and the Pope is tit, whether it's the educational system, there's a practical way of learning in the educational system. You want to learn a trade, you want to learn this, but it's not being taught that way. Let no man teach you. And what do? You allow yourself to be taught. You're just that dumb. And you pay money. They charge you thousands of dollars to teach you. And you go in debt. Who do you think is directing your path? Is that from God or Satan? The government don't care about you. Black people, they never have, and they never will take care of you. And they're not supposed to. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Well, how do I acknowledge him? I acknowledge him by praising the Lord. I acknowledge him by reading the Bible. I acknowledge him by going to church. I acknowledge him by accepting Jesus as my Lord and Savior. I heard someone tell Joel Friday, or ask him on his show one day. I had to be listening. It was a good show. Joel Friday, Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I heard somebody call him up and ask, well, have you accepted the Lord? Have you accepted Jesus? Something like this. Have you accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior and been baptized? Joel didn't know what to say. I'm like, what the? It was weird hearing that question being asked. Amazing, huh? And so how do I acknowledge Jesus in how do I in all ways acknowledge him? You do it by being present, by being alert, by being aware, by staying awake. I'm wide awake, by staying awake and not lost in your thoughts, all thoughts are all lies all the time, thinking about the illusion of the past or the future, or wondering when and where and why and how, by remembering things that doesn't exist anymore except in your illusion. Just like you have an illusion or delusion about the government going to do something for you. The government are evil human beings as well. Instead of picking cotton, they work at the White House. Instead of picking cotton, they're in the media. And they lie to you. Watch them with an open mind. They just sit there and lie. I watched sound bites from the little thing they're having in Chicago. They all just walk over to the stage and lie to you with a big smile. And you cry, and you smile back, and you applaud when they hit the applause sign. When they say, we love Joe Biden, you chant, we love Joe Biden, and you don't love Joe Biden any more than you love yourself. And you don't love yourself. The government is a wicked body of people with evil hearts and evil souls. They ain't not going to save you. Their God, Satan, is not going to let them do that. And so they don't want to do that because they love the control they have. Why do you think that in my country today, there is a major push for socialism? Why do you think they're doing that? They want to control. Socialism is about control. Well, apparently, some of the people over in Iran, it started to catch on, at least a little bit. Apparently, and evidently, and according to the reports, their government is as bad as our government, or even worse. And the people started to catch on a little bit. 888-7753-773. A quick break. Back to your calls and super chats. Back in a moment.
Hey, listen, before I ask my question, I want to thank you so much. The silent prayer, you know, I'm 50 years old. At home, we have a 16-year-old, 14-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And I got to tell you, introducing the silent prayer to my family, instead of just sitting down and saying the same old prayer over and over again before we eat our meal, to just be silent, bringing all thoughts into captivity. Brother, that has been such a huge, huge blessing in our lives. I just want to encourage anyone to try that out. It's amazing to look around after we've done our silent prayer before we eat, to see the excitement in my kids' faces, like, oh yeah, Dad, I had a bunch today. Or the other one will be like, yeah, you know, I had a couple things that I've been thinking about. It really takes root, Jesse, and so I want to thank you so much, and ever since then, it's been absolutely amazing. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, Tony. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. You're going to know God and his love. It's going to be amazing, man. So, it's Bible Thumper Thursday. I am going to get to your calls here. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Brand new episode of The Fallen State tomorrow, Friday. If the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. Brand new episode of The Fallen State. A very surprising but enjoyable and amazing interview or discussion with Anthony Roger. And Anthony is a stand-up comedian and host of the Anthony Rogers Show on Rumble. You got to know how to rumble. Watch this.
Next time on The Fallen State.
So, Anthony, how did you become a comedian? How did that all come about?
It's like being an almost 40-year-old teenager. I just kind of talk for 30 minutes and then I get paid more than I should.
And who is Anthony?
I'm a human being trying to figure it out like the rest of us, I guess, you know?
And do you have perfect peace?
Oh, man. I think I chased that.
What are you chasing? How do you do it?
In synthetic form, probably marijuana.
Amazing. Are you a mama's boy?
I think my mom was the person I was trying to impress the most, and now I'm just left with no one to impress. You have great energy. You have really deep, thoughtful questions.
Thank you, man. It was very, very enlightening. And it's tomorrow, brand new episode at 12 noon Pacific time. And don't forget to donate to The Fallen State by going to thefallenstate.tv/donate or not Rumble, but somebody. I forgot. All right. Locals.com. Thank you. What is that? You be like locals.com. Just click on the link there in the description. Locals.com. And don't forget to subscribe. Follow, like, ring the bell. Do all the social media stuff. Y'all know what to do, right? Absolutely. You definitely know what to do. And the hate report is coming up at 9 a.m. The guy with the good hair, hate show is there's not on the planet like it. Really. I don't even know how to describe the hate report. Except that it's amazing. It's amazing. From 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. And on Friday at 11 a.m. after the hate report, amazing. Mending relationships. One at a time. All in the name. It's in the name. It's in the blood. Joy Friday at 11 a.m. You black, better known as Arkansas, at 11 a.m. And then at 4 p.m., the American Anchor Baby. the American acre, babe. Energy straight from God. He has so much energy that it just goes back and forth between the two of them, he and God. He get it done. Isn't that amazing? So I'm being told to say we are working on the listen line. Sorry, people. Apparently the listen line is not working right now, right? I wonder if they changed.
Correct.
I wonder if they changed the numbers again. Amazing. So we're working on the listen line right now.
No. The number will stay the same. We'll let you know, guys. But that's not.
That's not the issue.
Just in case people think to change the number.
No, don't change the number. I'm just saying. Yeah, you have to be careful what you say. Don't touch the number. Hands off. They got to fix it. Nothing wrong with the number. Let me show you this really fast to give you more proof, in case you need it, that the government is not your friend. The government are human beings just like you, all over the world. And the human heart is evil. The human heart is wicked. So don't get caught up with the title of the job and forget that you're dealing with a human being. The title is just a title. But behind that title is a wicked heart. Human hearts are evil. Why do you think humans treat each other the way it ain't love, and they call it love? But to the blacks, and then to the illegal aliens who are coming into the country, and the government is now pandering to you, they're just setting you up for a vote. They don't care about you. They give you free everything because they want you to vote for them. They don't care if you're illegal. They're going to give you a driver's license or some type of ID that you might vote. It's another setup. Human hearts are wicked. Y'all have no idea what you're dealing with when you're dealing with human beings. All you see is a body that put it on a fake smile and you call it nice. It's another idea. You say, oh, look how nice that person is. You made up that idea straight out of hell. But the blacks, the government ain't gonna help. They haven't helped you in 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, and they never will. They don't intend to. They don't want to. They're just pretending. You think Kamala Harris care about you? Not 1 cent. All those fake smiles she's putting out there. And that little loosey-goosey beta so-called vice president man that running with her, that man moved too funny. He moved too fast. Somebody need to tell him to slow down and stop waving like he's in a beauty pageant or something, and that he has already won the award. But anyway, I'm diverting away. I want you to show that all governments are evil, and they have always been evil. Even in the days of Christ. Christ didn't have the government didn't like, as a matter of fact, they ignored him for a long time. They didn't even know who he was. He was some preacher out there, maybe they heard about it along the way, but they didn't know who Christ was because for a long time, he wasn't impacting their power. And they had power over the people. But as soon as he started to have an effect on their power, Judas sold him over, and the government went and got him. As a matter of fact, they didn't know who he was. Judas, what's his name, Judas?
Yeah, Judas.
Judas said, right. The man that I kiss is Jesus. And they were like, what the? They didn't even know who he was. And you thought everybody knew who Jesus was. What the? He was walking the earth with them. As a matter of fact, his own people, his own mother, didn't know who he was. They recognized they started to see who he was once he rose again. And they got a little light of who he was. They were like, because they were like all crying and scared. And when he was on the cross, they took it. They like, the man that saved the world, you're killing him. They didn't know Jesus had a plan because they didn't know Jesus. Well, anyway, all governments are evil, and you rely on the government. And the government turn you into a victim, and you cry victimhood. And they give you DEI, and they tell you you don't have to earn it. Here's affirmative action with a new name. You just have to be a certain color. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to know what you're doing. You don't have to know how to make it happen. You just need to be a color. And you fall for it. Because now you're a victim in your own mind, created by your parents and the government. But anyway, so governments are no good. Our government's not going to help you, and they never will. Never have and never will. When Trump get in, if he should get in, all he's going to do is make your life a little bit more comfortable to function on earth. He's not going to save you. He's going to bring back jobs. He's going to bring back the police. He's going to lower the taxes. He's going to build a strong military and try not to have a war. He's going to have respect for America around the world. But he still can't save you. And as I said, our governments are no good nowhere. That's why they're called government. They want to govern you and control you. CBN has reported at least 1 million Muslims are choosing to follow Christ. At least 1 million Muslims are choosing to follow Christ, especially in Iran, as people search for a better life. Even the Allahu Akbar people are in pain. And they can say Allahu Akbar so perfectly it makes you want to cry. But they're in pain. They're in misery. And according to this report, they have decided to follow Christ. Iranians are growing tired of the what is it? That doesn't sound right. Ayatollahs. Ayatollahs. What the? The Iranians are growing tired of the Ayatollahs, leaders, and a nation led by the empty promises of their Islamic theocracy. They're growing tired of it. No more Allahu Akbar for them. It's not working. Just like our government is not working. Just like Israel's government is not working. And Ayatollahs are those leaders, are the so-called religious leaders, right? Their government is not working. And the people say, well, we're going to give Christ a chance. And all they have been given are empty promises. And that's exactly what our government does. If you pay attention to what the speakers are saying over there at the stupid Democratic National event, all empty promises. All empty. Listen, it's just empty promises. You can't save the world with social empty promises. It never has worked and it never will work. It never has worked and it never will work. It's just a bunch of empty promises. I want you to see this soundbite from CBN. Watch this from CBN.
Amidst wars and rumors of bigger conflicts in the Middle East region, there is some good news. An unprecedented number of Muslims are choosing to follow Christ. In Iran, 50,000 out of 75,000 mosques have closed, as 80% of Iranians express their dissatisfaction with the government and their desire to see democracy replace it.
Well, one of the things that's happened since 1979 is the government of Iran has been the mullahs. It's been the Islamic leaders, and they have made this claim that, hey, we are running our country according to Islamic principles. We're going to follow the Quran down to a T. We're going to run everything in the country just the way Islam tells us to. Well, we're now 45 years into that little experiment, and you have a country with one of the highest drug addiction rates in the world. You have a country where corruption runs rampant. You have a country where more than half the people live below the poverty line. And the people of Iran are looking at this and they're saying, wait a minute, if this is what Islam has brought us in the last 45 years, we're not interested.
They were not talking about America. Does it sound like he was talking about in America? That's here. I mean, that over there. It's the same problems because it's the same spirit. You see those Muslim leaders in their heavy big robes and rats around their heads and praying to Allah. Behind those clothes are evil spirits, evil human beings. And as long as they can control you with Allahu Akbar, they will. And it's not going to work. All they're doing is they're just making empty promises, and they know it. Drugs and no work, everything bad over there, just like here. And all this government has done for us over the years is giving us empty promises. And you keep falling for it. Here's the government response to Muslims turning to Christ.
How's the regime reacting to this? We've heard 50,000 of 75,000 mosques have closed, and I'm sure they aren't accepting that very well.
No, this is not something that is making the regime happy. And really, in many ways, they are seeking to solidify their power and to crush any kind of dissent. And they certainly see the growth of the church. They certainly see Christian evangelism as a form of dissent. That's undermining the Islamic regime. And so you have Christians being arrested, particularly leaders. We have heard multiple stories this year of a Bible study, a home church being raided. Everyone there is photographed, everyone there is questioned, but then the leader of the meeting is held onto. They are arrested, they are detained, they're put in prison. And so there really is a concerted effort to go after the leaders and the people who are spreading Christianity and inviting other Muslims to come and follow Christ.
Amazing. Exactly what is happening here. This is why they're going after the white man. The white man trying to be a Christian. The white man in America trying to teach others or encourage others to be Christians. Why do you think they're going after Trump so desperately? They don't want any white man to be the leader or to point the way to Christ. And they put you in jail. They spy on you. They have people who tell on you. Whatever it takes. It's the same thing. They fight to keep you under control. That's what they're doing to the blacks. They tell the blacks, oh, that party over there is a racist party. That party over there is a party of the KKK, the skinheads, or whatever else they call it. Because they're doing they don't want to lose control over you, so they come for you. Who are you trying to escape the plantation of my ideas? Who are you to think that you can have your own ideas, and who will I control if I can no longer control you? What does the wife do when the husband decides he's not going to cater to her anymore? She cries. And she builds an army of people who agrees with her how bad that old husband of yours is. He doesn't worship you. And then her God, the devil, tell her, take him to court. Take every dime he got. Take his money. Take his job. Destroy him and take his children. And she goes to court and she cries. And the evil judge falls for it, pretending he doesn't know what's going on. Or she. Now that they have female judges. It's the same thing over there that's happening over here in every country. Here are the received responses from a minister in the area called the Tide Ministry. Watch this.
Don Schenk serves as executive director of the Tide Ministry. He explains how Muslims are experiencing dreams and visions, leading many to find purpose and a different understanding of God.
We get responses from listeners who say, now I understand that God loves me. I always thought that God wanted to punish me. And I think there's an awakening, as I said, that's taking place across the Muslim world.
Schenk states that Tide Ministry radio broadcasts are receiving positive responses in Afghanistan, where the Taliban pose great danger for those seeking information from secret Christians within the country.
There's a lot of suspicion of, if I'm going to meet with these people and share that I'm now a believer, are they really true believers? Or are they just trying to identify me? It's more than simply being ostracized or disowned by your family. It is actually the threat of death.
Amazing. That's your government for you all around the world. The government has never been and never will be and ain't going to be, can't be your friends. They love power. Every evil human being, and every human being is evil until they return to the Father. Every anger is evil. Anyone that has anger is evil. And don't try to compare your anger to Jesus. Satan is tricky, making a fool out of you. Your human anger has nothing to do with Jesus. Jesus never had human anger. But anyway, every human being heart is wicked. They want power. That's why you fight. That's why you fight one another. That's why you fight in your head. By arguing with the evil spirits. And you argue with Satan inside of other human beings. Never try to make a relationship work. Don't try to make a marriage work. Don't try to make friendship work. Stop catering to people. Either it works naturally or it doesn't. 888-77, it's a spiritual battle. 888-77, Jesse, a quick break. Hake is coming in with the hate news, not the fake news, but the hate news. Hake, H-A-K-E, the guy with the good hair. 2 more hours to go. I'll be back in a moment to your phone calls and super chats. Back in a moment. I have books that are amazing. I highly recommend you get them. 7 guaranteed steps to spiritual, family, and financial success guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They are using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663.
A whole lot of mess going on in the world. This is the end of hour 1 of Bible Thumper Thursday, August 22nd, AD 2024. The lines are full, I do believe, guys. JLP will be right back to the show to take your calls, and we will read your super chats. Many left over even from yesterday and today. Some new ones today. But first, Hake News, not fake news. Commie Nonsense Network, CNN reports independent presidential candidate RFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr., expected to suspend his campaign tomorrow, Friday, at an event in Arizona, says Commie Nonsense. Sources familiar with the plans told Commie Nonsense that he is in talks to endorse our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, shortly afterwards. Wouldn't that be nice? Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, he formally accepted the vice presidential nomination. What a beta. During his keynote address Wednesday at the Democrat National Convention, DNC, he introduced himself as a dad, which is a beta word, a coach, a teacher, a hunter, and a neighbor. Oh, dear me, the N-word, a neighbor. As he outlined how notice he didn't call himself a combat veteran. Anyway, he outlined how Kamala Harris, cackling Kamala, would lead the country. See? Told you he's beta. If elected to become the 47th president of the United States of America. What a disgrace. The third night of the convention also featured appearances from that old skeleton known as Bill Clinton, one of the worst presidents in the history of America, who made a forceful pitch for cackling Kamala Harris, as forceful as an old man can muster. Old, weak man. And also former House Speaker Nervous Nancy Pelosi. I'm growing. Who's also getting up there in age. She said the vice president is ready to take us to new heights. I don't even think they like each other. Oprah Winfrey, framed the who wished that she could be Trump's running mate back in the year 2000, according to a purported letter that she sent him, I think. Anyway, Oprah Winfrey, she framed the 2024 election as a fight for freedom. Indeed it is. And an opportunity to choose joy. Indeed it is. Vote Trump, vote freedom, and choose joy. Later today, cackling Kamala Harris will close the convention in Chi-Town, Chirac, with a highly anticipated, according to who? Who's anticipating it? Speech as she accepts her party's historic presidential nomination. What a mess. Historically stupid. Sorry. Canadian rail shut down. Canada's 2 major freight railroads have shut their operations. I think I have 2 minutes left. Okay. Locking out 9,000 members of the Teamsters Union who operate trains and dealing a potential blow to both the Canadian and U.S. economies. Nearly a third of freight handled by the 2 railroads, Canadian National and Canadian Pacific Kansas City Southern, crosses the U.S.-Canada border. And shutdown could disrupt operations in several U.S. industries, including agriculture, automobiles, home building, and energy. Today's action is different from a strike in which scumbag communist union members refuse to report for work. In this case, management is telling the nearly 9,000 so-called Teamsters that they can't work amid ongoing labor disputes. What a mess, huh? And what's going on in Gaza? Thousands of Palestinians in Gaza received new orders from the Israeli military to flee the embattled enclave. Get out of there. People were seen in videos leaving areas near the central Gazan city of Deir al-Balah. Some were in cars loaded with their belongings, including mattresses tethered to the top of their vehicles. And so it's a big mess. I'm James Hake. Now, perhaps back to the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, hour 2, I think.
got to stand up strong. Ain't the truth about themselves to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth. Bill, you know why you did that? You got the wrong one. You tell me later. I'm on the air right now. I know. Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the second hour of the show today. You can get involved by calling 888-7753, 773-888-77-JESSE. And my biblical question for this week, what's going on earth? What's going on earth? What's going on? Don't you want to know? You can if you want to know. We have every way that you can listen to the show, no matter what you're doing and where you are, right? Even over in Iran, those Muslims who are fighting to become Christians. And now the military and the government is going after them, according to the report. See how the government don't want to let you go once you're on that plantation? They tell you, you'll stand and you're going to love me. You ain't going nowhere. And you going to love me, they say. And the government get their orders from the big boy, the head of the evil spirits, Satan. Human beings in government listen to the devil, just like you. But anyway, you can listen to the show on your iPhone or iPad, no matter where you are, by calling the listen line at 605-615-4131. 605-615-4131. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to Buy Me a Coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP Talk. BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP Talk or Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP Cash App. It's Thursday. And every Thursday is and will always be Bible Thumper Thursday.
All right, brother. Are you ready? He's drunk as a badger.
He's drunk as a bastard.
Go ahead. Let that Holy Ghost language come up out of you. Go ahead.
Fire! Fire! What the? Amazing! Oh, amazing. Anyway, watch how the government lied to you. Don't be into that. Have a little space. I've always said, have a space between you and everyone. Don't get so excited and be so fast that you can't see what's going on. Have a space so you can see what's going on. They are lying to you about Kamala Harris. They're outright lying. Just everybody going there and lying with a smile. And the massive smile back. If you don't know that's evil, if you don't know that there's something else driving them as it is you, then you can't see. I want to go to the busy phones. Our battle is a spiritual battle. No such thing as racism, sexism, homophobism, Allahu Akbarism, Debbie Dadism, white supremacism, anti-Semitism, no isms. And you are not in control. And you don't have a free will. And you don't know the truth until it presents itself to you. And it's not going to do it to anyone that doesn't invite it. It just ain't going to happen. You got to open yourself up and welcome it. And then you got to let go. You got to give up. If you want to be free, and free indeed, and free right here on earth, you don't have to wait till you die to have peace. You can have perfect peace right here, right now, to be honest. If you want it. You don't want it. You lie and say you do, but you really don't. You don't even follow instructions. I tell people, go and forgive. I suggest. I'm telling you this because it's good for you, right? Go and forgive. And it's not for me. It's for you. It's not for your mama. When you forgive your mama, you're not forgiving your mama for her. You're forgiving for you so you can come out of hell. I say do the silent prayer. Stay present. Be aware. You don't do that. Some people you would lie and tell me they have been doing it, and then they have to admit they lied. I'm like, what now? But anyway, let me go to Joe out of Massachusetts. Joe, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe.
I think I answered my question while I was sitting here thinking about it. But I was curious how you felt about Numbers 5:11 through 31, specifically Numbers 5:27, where it talks about the thigh of the woman falling away, which is like, a miscarriage. With literally, I took it, God gave the priest the power to make a drink that if a woman was unfaithful to her husband and the husband became jealous of her infidelity, the priest could bring the woman to God, and she would drink the drink, and her belly would swell, and she would miscarry. But do you think that's literal, or that's just an example of the danger of jealousy?
So let me read it. Let me read it to the people. Someone just gave it to me. If she has made herself impure and been unfaithful. If she has made herself impure and been unfaithful to her husband, this will be the result when she is made to drink the water that bring a curse and causes bitter suffering. It will enter her. It will enter her abdomen. She will swell, and her womb will miscarry, and she will become a curse. That's from number 5:25. And your question about that is what, Joe? 27. 5:27.
Yeah, 5:20. Numbers 5:27. I took it literal. Whereas, is it an example of the danger of jealousy, the sin of jealousy. Does that make sense?
Well, it definitely
I took
shows.
it literally.
It definitely shows how cruel and evil human beings are. That in their father's state, they would try to punish her in that way. It's not from God.
It's not from God.
It's the same thing that the people over in Iran, according to this story, tried to do to the Muslims who are turning into becoming Christians. They'll try to hunt them down and lock them up and kill them and destroy them. Human nature is evil, and this is what they do to one another. It's not from God.
Okay, I took it literally, and I think it's to teach me of the dangers of jealousy. But
oh, okay. Are you jealous?
No.
Oh, okay. Nice.
No. I am. I'm 100% on board with you.
Amazing.
And can I ask another quick question?
Yes.
Can I answer the biblical question from last week?
Let's see. I don't have it at this time.
No. Okay.
What do you want to say?
Because I meant to call.
What do you?
I just wanted to say real quick is that I'm a tow truck driver, and I drive a tow truck 50 hours a week in the ghetto, and I'm white and 54 years old. And how do I always think about people? Because
why do you think about other people? Why do you think about other people?
Yeah, because they're in my face 50 hours a week. And like I was saying, I'm white, middle-aged, American, and I'm in the ghetto 50 hours a week towing people in and out, and they're constantly in my face, and I am not struggling with it, but I should say I'm struggling with it a little bit.
Why not let go and not struggle with it at all?
That's what I constantly do while I'm driving. I constantly hear those words and I say that to myself, and they catch me off guard. And when they catch me off guard, I quickly go and get, I guess you could call it ticked or whatever, but I immediately come back to the present. But it's like a constant bombardment of people.
That's why you have to practice being present at all times. Even when you're getting in and out of your car, going from one room to another, turning on the motor ignition of the car to start it up. You have to practice being present so you can stay. Eventually, you will forget about the past and you would just live in the present. And then that way, being around people all day and bombarded by people you wouldn't be bothered by. You wouldn't think of them at all.
Okay. Great, Jesse. Thank you. And real quick, I ordered a Cameo, and I put my last name in the description, but you don't have to say my last name.
Yeah, we don't say the last name anyway.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Amazing. Cameos are amazing. I do them for you. Birthdays, shout-outs, encouragement, weddings, congratulations, whatever. Go to cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Amazing. Let me go to David out of Florida. David, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Jesse. How you doing?
All is well, David.
Awesome, man. The real reason I called is to answer the biblical question, but
what's going on
I would like to
Earth?
first give you some credit, sir, if I could. Just want to say thank you again for putting me on to the silent prayer and everything. It's completely changed, how I look at everything, and like you said, it's very amazing. It's definitely amazing, but it's definitely very difficult because it's like a constant daily struggle of the ego death, and that's a very hard thing to kind of like accept and go through. But definitely on the other side of that is God gives you your life back, and it's been very interesting to go down this journey. So I just wanted to say thank you first.
Stay with it. Stay with it. I'm telling you, David, I am just as a witness. Stay with it. No matter what situation you run into, no matter what happens, you stay with being aware. You stay with the silent prayer.
Yes, sir.
And so you're welcome, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to answer that biblical question as well, sir.
What's going on earth?
I think it's the most basic answer, and, this is just from a 28-year-old, know nothing young man, but, I think it's just evil is like the most basic way of explaining what's going on earth. And when you have a society of godless people, I think this is what happens is that when you have no God, when you don't have God, you fancy yourself a God, or you begin to fancy others or other institutions or other people, presidential candidates, what have you, other groups and cults as God, and that becomes what you follow, and that takes over your soul, if you will. But I think that's bottom line. What's happening on earth is that people are not living through God and with God every single day. And if you don't do that, I think this is the result of it.
Very, very interesting, David. I want to respond, but I can't. But very interesting. When did you realize this?
Just by looking at me, like you say all the time, sir. I'm far from a perfect human being, and I just things that even pop into my head, like you say, like the thoughts and holding me captive. When you really get to sit with that and you look at yourself and you look at the mirror and the man in the mirror, you're like, wow, like I am jacked up. And now I see what you mean by everyone is 2 hoops and a holler away from being the next Ted Bundy or the next whatever.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yes, sir.
Amazing.
Yeah. Did you say Jeffrey Dahmer?
You remember that guy, Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about.
Every human being is 2 hoops and a holler for becoming Jeffrey Dahmer.
Exactly. Jesse, how are you so alpha? Appreciate it, sir. That's all
right.
I had, man.
Stay with it, David. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Amazing. And thanks for responding to the biblical question. Louis, there's a line open at 888-77-53773. Louis is a first-time caller out of Georgia. Georgia on my mind. Louis, welcome to the
Good morning,
show.
Jesse.
Hey, Louis.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
How are you?
All is well. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse, I've been listening to you for a while now, and I wanna thank you for when I heard the message about anger and forgiveness and stuff like that. It really has changed my life a lot. Yeah, I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome, buddy. Stay with it. Stay with it.
Yeah, I will. Look, I've also heard you a lot talking about moving out and, living our own lives and, becoming individuals and stuff like that. And, I'm 20 years old right now, and, I've been thinking about, or I know that's something that I want to do is move out and kind of separate myself from the home and, the people in the home and stuff.
Right now you're living with your parents?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so, I talked to my father about moving out, and it seems to me like, when I talk to him about it, and, he told me he moved out when he was 27. And it didn't seem like there was a lot of encouragement to go out, rather to wait and I guess save up or prepare or whatever. But it seems like it's right to just go, but I have a lot of doubt about how, like how I'm going to sustain myself and stuff like that. So I wanted to ask how I can get over that.
You have doubt about how you're going to be able to take care of yourself?
Yeah, and just transition from, the life that I've been living, being at home and stuff.
So
being on my own.
While growing up, your parents didn't teach you to be responsible. They didn't let you do little things around the house, and they didn't prepare you to get a job when you turn 18?
Yeah, no, I've been working. I do work, and I have 2 jobs right now, and they've had me do yard work growing up a lot, and doing my dishes and.
So why are you concerned
like
that if you move out, you get your own place, nothing expensive, but something you can afford and decent, and you have a job? Why can't you think you're not going to know how to pay the rent and buy food?
I think I could, but it's just like a big change, I guess.
You don't pay rent now living with your parents?
No.
Oh. And why don't you pay rent now living with them? You're 20-something years old.
I guess they just haven't asked it of me.
Do you think if they loved you, they would let you live there free?
No. I thought, when I talked to my dad, I thought, he would want me to go.
Yeah. Your father's a beta. Boo!
When I told you I was still living at home, I was expecting you to call me one too.
Well, I'm getting there.
All right.
I'm just trying to understand why are you have 2 jobs. You're 20-something years old. All you're going to be doing is paying your own bills. You pay your own way. You're going to go to work. You're going to buy food when you're hungry. You're going to pay the rent when it's due. You're going to buy a car when you need one. Why are you afraid of that?
Well, I think I'm believing thoughts about it.
And I was going to ask, who is telling you that you're not going to make it?
Well, I am starting to see, if I didn't want to have these thoughts, I would have stopped having them a long time ago, so
Right.
I know. I'm starting to understand that it's something else driving me.
So who is telling you that you're a grown man, but if you move out of your mama's house, you're not going to make it? Who's telling you that?
I guess Satan.
And you guess, or is it possible that somebody else is telling you besides him?
Nobody's told me that, like another person.
And so where are you getting those ideas from then?
My imagination.
And why? And are you your imagination?
No.
So why are you listening to it?
I don't know.
You say you're 22?
20.
20. What is it like being at home at 20 and you're a male?
Well,
like when you wake up, do you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, I'm 20, I'm still home?
Something.
I am 20 and Mama is making breakfast.
Breakfast is good.
Right. Mama breakfast is good.
Yeah, she's like, come on down to eat, son. Yeah, I mean, I can't say it feels good. I know it's, like, I know there's something wrong with it, but, well, no, but nothing, but, I guess it's so common now that, like, there's, like, no shame in it. I think I could go around and tell anybody and they'd be like, oh, it's okay. Like, take your time. Don't rush,
That's why you have to live your own world. You are your world. You're not other people's world, and they're not your world, because most people know they love being that way. They love being miserable, right? And they're not going to grow up. But then you can be different. You can grow up. You can be independent. You can be in control of your own world. You don't have to fit in with the crowd. The crowds are losers. That's why they are crowds, because they can't think and do. They have no courage. They have no love.
Yeah. I really do want to separate myself from that.
When you ask your father why did he love you enough to make sure that when you turn 18, you'll be able to go out on your own, what did he say?
I didn't ask him that specifically, but I brought up the idea of leaving home. Because just because, it's something I've started to see that does need to happen, because if not now, then when?
I remember when I was growing up, even after I became an adult, and if you stay home past 18 or 19, the parents they start to get irritated at you. They hate seeing you coming in for lunch.
Yeah.
They don't want you. They're like, you need to get out of here. You get on my nerve.
Right.
They hate seeing grown people laying around.
Uh-huh. Yeah. They seem rather happy that I'm still home. Because my family, because we're Hispanic, so, like, we have this really big family, and, they're all about, like, the family being, like, super close. Like, they're all into that.
But that's what all mamas do in all cultures. Mama makes sure that you stay home. Mama makes sure that the family is together. It's another form of control. Your mother is evil, and she loves control.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to see the lack of love.
They have no love for you, period.
Yeah. I saw that a good bit ago.
And what was it like to see it? When you saw it, how did you feel seeing it?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I think I might have already knew that for like a while, but like when I heard you say it, I guess it kind of confirmed it. But as far as how it felt to like really see it, I mean, by the time I saw it and knew it to be true, it wasn't really that big of a deal.
I got you. Okay. Hold on for a minute. Let me take a quick break. 888-775-3773. And I come back, your phone call and super chats back in a moment. I recommend you get a copy of my book, From Rage to Responsibility. I write about how the spirit of anger was taken away from me 29 years ago. I forgave my mother who tried to turn me away from my father, and I returned to my father, and through him, my father on earth, and through him I was able to return to God. No man or woman can return to God unless you go through the Son. And men are sons of God. They may be weak, pathetic examples of it, but it's the spiritual order of life. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. So get from race to responsibility. I write about that. Go to my website, rebuildingtheman.com, for an autographed copy, or call 800-411-BOND. And donate to my nonprofit, Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. We are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Amazing. 888-775-3773. 888-77-JESSE. Don't forget, check out our merch. Good morning, X. How y'all over there on X? Make sure you subscribe over there. What's up? But check out our merch. Amazing merch. Hats. The amazing Tar Baby on it. Mugs. Tommy like a mug. Big Mama Michelle. Big Mama is a mess. Big Mama Michelle Obama. Your mama didn't leave. Your daddy didn't leave you. He left your mama. Your daddy love you. What the? Tote bags, all kinds of things. Check it out at rebuildingtheman.com/store. rebuildingtheman.com/stores. And don't forget, there are so many ways to listen to the show, Jesse Lee Peterson Show, by going to jesseleepeterson.com/show. All right? And like, follow, subscribe, and do all those amazing things. I do appreciate it. Let me go quickly back to Louis, first-time caller out of Georgia. Georgia, on my mind. So, Louis, I want you to ask your father with those exact words, Dad, why didn't you, or whatever you call him, why didn't you love me enough to make sure I was prepared to leave home at 18 or 19? And listen to what he said. It would be interesting to find out why, especially the father. Now, I know the mothers keep you at home because they want to control you, and not just in the Mexican community, but everywhere, all mothers. But ask your father, why did he allow that to happen? Why did he love you enough to prepare you? Just to see what he says.
Okay. Yeah, I'll ask my father.
And so, do you date?
Not a lot, Every now and then I'll go on a few dates, but it's not frequent.
And when you do date, do they know you live with? They're like, okay, I want to come over your house. You like, no.
I don't even ask.
You say, no, I can't come over your house. I mean, you can't come over my house because I live with my mama.
Yeah, I don't really ask them to come over unless
my
parents are out of town.
Oh, you like, come over my house, my parents are out of town?
It's happened.
What a beta.
Yeah. There it is.
So
yeah, that's happened.
Really? You said come over. You can come over my house. My parents are out of town.
Yes.
And have you ever asked the girl, can you go to her house?
Well, yeah, not really her house, but like if she's in college, then I've just gone over to her dorm.
What a beta.
Yeah.
Oh God! And when
I'm
you
starting
ask,
to see that now.
so what?
I said I'm starting to see that, like the beta.
You better. Yeah. And so when you ask, that is, I understand, but it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Did it feel good to say my parents are out of town? Come on over.
I don't know if I really felt anything about it.
Oh, I see. Because it's a norm to you, huh?
Yeah, it's just so normal now. Like I'm at my mom's house.
And so are you going to live your life the normal way, or are you going to take on the world?
I think it's time to do it the other way.
It really is, man.
Yeah.
So your question for me is what right now?
Well, that was, I guess I wanted to know how to get over that and just do it. Like, I don't know how to just do it.
You have money to save up. You have 2 jobs already. Just don't rush into this. Just know now that you want to move out. You got to move out. And then take your time and find a little place you like to live in for a while. And then eventually you'll be able to buy your place, but find a place you want to live in and go start living. Pay your rent, something you can afford. Don't get anything too expensive. And then just start taking care of yourself. Pay your rent, buy your own food. But have you forgiven your parents for doing this to you?
Yes.
You told them?
Yeah.
And what did they say?
Well, I went up to both of them. It was pretty scary, man. Because it was both of them there, like me and then them two sitting across from me. And I just forgave them both right there. And I was struggling with like some depression and stuff, and like I was like really insecure and anxious a lot. I was just like really, I guess, like really in a fallen state, and it was crazy because like within like 2 weeks of hearing your message about forgiveness, because like I hadn't even seen you, and then I just stumbled upon you, and I heard it. I heard what you were saying about anger and forgiveness, and I just knew, like, I'm really glad that I was as angry as I was because it was so apparent to me. Like I was like foaming at the mouth nearly every day.
Yeah.
And it was so apparent. And like, I'm grateful for that because like for some people it may not be so easy to see that they're angry. So I saw it like just like that. And I was like, wow, like I'm like furious, like at all times nearly, it seems like. So within 2 weeks of hearing your message about forgiveness, I was like, wow, like I do need to do that. So yeah, I did go up to them and both at the same time. And, my mom, I told my mom I was angry at her for, because she has a lot of anger.
Of course.
Like growing up. And like, the anger was put upon me a lot. I think I was kind of like the problem child in my family. So like there was like a lot of it was like directed at me, and they had a lot of frustration and impatience with me. And so I forgave my mom for that because I did. This was also around the time I was starting to understand that there's like other spirits driving us to do it because we, So I finally saw like just how angry I was, and like I couldn't stop myself from being angry. Like I finally like understood that they couldn't stop themselves. Even though they probably didn't mean to do it like that. But it happened like that.
What did they say when you forgave them? You told them that. What did they say?
Yeah. So my mom got upset.
Oh, those Mexican moms are nasty, man.
I know.
Oh my God.
Tell me about it.
And I know, so you know.
And like she got upset and like she wanted to like go outside and like step away to like get some fresh air or something. And I told her not to run because like it was like important that we like talked or we had like the conversation about it and stuff. And yeah, I told my mom, yeah, like, so yeah, she reacted pretty upset and she was like sad. She didn't want to like feel culpable for like me being depressed or like angry. You know what I mean? And then I told my dad, like I forgave my dad because like he didn't correct her or didn't like stop her from doing that.
Yeah. And what did he say?
My dad had some. Well, you know, my dad, he's a very like intellectual person. So like, he was trying to explain that like, you know, they're not perfect and stuff. And I understand. But like he was trying to say like, oh, like, you know, like we're not perfect and, you know, like we tried the best we could. He was probably talking for at least like 20 minutes. I don't even remember what he said. I just had to wait.
What I want to tell you is that the reason you were a problem child because you became like your mother. And when they would see you acting out, she was looking at herself, but she wouldn't admit that it was her. And she blamed you for your actions when it really was the spirit that's in her had made a home in you, and you became like what you hate.
Right.
That's why you're the problem child, because you were the same spirit that your mother would pass on to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I recommend, do what you want, but I recommend you stay with the silent prayer, just work on you, and take your time and find a place to live, and go out and do your own thing. Be safe out there. It's a mean world. Watch out the people you hang out with, but you're not going to grow up until you take on the challenges of life. And a man grow when he deal with the issues in life. He does not grow when he stay home with mama. He become depressed. He become suicidal. He become angry. He become lost. He become lonely. He get worse because the spirits are taking over you more so when he stays at home with mama. He stay into his evil. He doesn't overcome it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you.
So it's time to go. It's cool that you're working. You have 2 jobs. You can afford to take care of yourself. It's time to go and take on the challenge. And don't worry about if it's going to work or not going to work. You go and just live moment by moment. Every day is a new day. Just live moment by moment. Don't worry about what's going to happen. And let life happen for you. It will happen for you.
Yeah. You know, I've noticed too, like even after the forgiving and doing the silent prayer, I do remember when I first started out, you know, I did miss a few mornings, you know, when I was starting out, you know, I was like late for work or something, but you know, I've been with it for a minute now. I think since about April. And but I've noticed like there's still I guess like it's like what you're saying is true about staying at home with mama. Like it's not like things like the load has gotten lighter, but like, you know, I guess just staying at home is kind of hindering.
It is. You're not facing the world. You're not overcoming the challenges of life. You're not growing up. And if you stay home for too long, you won't be able to get out after a while. I know men who are in their 60s, and they're at home with mama. And I know men who the mothers have died, and they still can't leave, and they can't function because they hate the mother so bad. And because they stay home with her, they didn't develop at all. Now they don't know what to do with themselves now that mama is dead. They don't know what to do because they never developed. They never went out. See, they never went out and faced the issues of life. God put inside of all of us the ability, I use that word, the ability to deal with the issues of life, because he wants us to go out and become sons of God. He wants you to grow So he's giving you the way to do that if you just go and do it. But because Mama God is Satan, Satan is encouraging her not to let you do it. Keep him with you to make sure he doesn't grow. And not just Mexican mamas. All mamas are like that. All colors of mamas are like that.
Yeah.
So go live your life, man. And whatever vices and things that you're dealing with, don't worry about that. Don't get into that. Don't think about that. Don't judge yourself about it. Now that you're becoming aware, you watch those things. If you want to hit a joint, or if you want to do this and do, watch it, but don't call it you. Don't do anything about it. Don't get mad. Don't say, poor me. It will be taken away from you because it is not you. It's in the mind and emotions, but it's not you.
Right.
The observation, the observing of it, the seeing of it will take it away from you because it's just part of your evil nature. That nature of Satan is not you.
I see.
All right?
I'm with you.
Amazing. I got to run, man, but call me and update me as to how things are going for you.
Absolutely, Jesse. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome, man. Stay with us, stay with us, stay with it.
I will. God bless you.
You too, buddy. Thank you. 888-7753-773. That's one line open now. Super chat. Super.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
Kid Combo 1 donated a diamond yesterday saying, Jesse, Misty said Anna Navajo is from Nicaragua. Thumbs up emoji.
Amazing. Who's Anna Navajo?
I don't know, but she's from Nicaragua, according to Misty.
Amazing. Thank you. Amazing. I appreciate it.
Charles bought a coffee yesterday. Hey, Jesse, they got a whole population of people calling a woman who never had any children Momala.
I know.
Our country is gone.
That's evil. It's pure evil. And because the people are controlled by evil and they don't know it, or they know it, don't care, they'll do whatever the bosses tell them to do. Meaning the government, the media, or whatever, right? Amazing. Thank you.
Apple 2691, 10 coffees, very generous.
Thank you.
Hi, Jesse, James, and crew. Biblical question, please.
What's going on earth?
Hell is empty because all the demons are on earth. That's what's going on earth. I have a question. Today is my son's 36th birthday. He doesn't talk to me. Should I call him and tell him happy birthday and apologize to him for being an evil and crazy mom? Thanks, Jesse, for the advice.
As soon as you found out you were evil and crazy, you should have done that. What the? You should definitely call your son and apologize, but don't impose. If he accepts it, fine. If he doesn't, fine. And wish him happy birthday and move on. Amazing. Thank you. I wish you well.
Mike Young bought a coffee. Hey, Jesse, sorry for the confusion yesterday.
Let me say this. It's amazing that everybody knows that Kamala Harris has nothing to offer. Nothing. Zero. Never have and never will. And yet they pretend that she does. Isn't that like mind-blowing? You know you're evil. You're blind. Something else is controlling you. Amazing. But go ahead.
Indeed. Mike Young says, Jesse, sorry for the confusion yesterday. I was saying that we are on the verge of World War III. He was saying it. Not you know that we are.
Oh.
And it seems that the supporters of the DNC don't seem to care. So why do you think that is?
No problem, Mike. I understand that. Do you remember that, Super Chat?
Yeah. He said, yeah, I sort of remember.
Okay.
It.
But yeah, no problem, man. Things happens. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, they want war.
Oh, yeah. That's why they're evil.
Yep.
They absolutely want war. They want to maintain power and wealth, Mike. That's why they're doing it. And the right-o Republicans are the same way. If it wasn't for Donald Trump, there would be no one to vote for. Really. Thank God for the great white hope, Donald Trump. Amazing. Thank you.
Pincho loves Bond bought 10 coffees. Joel thought that was a cuss word. I'm not sure. I don't think it is, but it might be.
What word?
I'm not going to repeat it.
So it might be a curse word.
It's okay to
Too
say
late.
because it's not with an E at the end. Pincho.
Yeah, you're thinking of that other word.
Yeah.
Well, don't say it then.
10 coffees. Jesse, can you please tell the ankle baby that he needs to go back to 12? He has a good thing at noon, and he can still do his little nighttime show on Fridays. Did you know he is gaming on his evening show? Beta. I'm just kidding. I love his show, and I'll watch whenever. Shout out to the plantation.
Nice. Thank you. Thanks. And thanks for your support. Amazing.
He also says, chat, super chat if you agree, or press 1. Love you guys, and thank you for everything amazing. We'll support everyone no matter what. Keep it piffy.
Amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it. Absolutely.
Brittany gave on a Cash App that says personalized note. And I'll have to check to see if I can see the personalized note, but it says personalized note.
Okay.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you, Brittany.
Stacy on Cash App. Happy B-Day and shout out to Jimmy Mack from Stacy.
Jimmy Mack. Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy Mack. When are you coming back? Jimmy. Amazing. Thank you.
That was yesterday. Shout out yesterday to Kid Combo 1, Cactus Eater Bear, Evgeny Crosby, Games for Rec, and the rest of the supporters and the D-Live crew. Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all.
Shill and Lean bought our coffee. Jesse, I was watching yesterday's show, and Biniam from Ethiopia got me to reflect about this too, especially when the call came right after Anne Marie's, and you were saying that hope is dope to Anne Marie.
Drop the hope.
Hope is for dopes. When you say the Great White Hope, are you just being humorous in using the word hope just for the purpose of communication? I'm voting for Trump, by the way.
Nice. And so they want to know about hope?
Yeah, and the Great White Hope.
What does she want to know?
Chill and Lean wants to know, when you use the term the Great White Hope, are you being humorous or are you just communicating?
Donald Trump is white. He's great in that he want to bring back opportunity to America and protect the American people. And he put America first. And as a result, that brings hope to the people. That one day they will have a job, and one day the police will be back. One day the crime will go down at least. So he brings hope. And as a result, he is the one and the only Great White Hope.
And yes, together we will make America great again.
And he's white. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Nice.
Very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Phil bought 3 coffees with no message. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Phil.
Tater Salad bought a coffee.
Tater salad.
Jesse, were you aware that Harpo is Oprah spelled backwards? She also owned Harpo Productions back in the day. What an ego, huh? I'm full of all kinds of useless info, but just wanted to give you something to ponder on. God bless you, brother, and thank you for showing me the way back to the Father.
Yeah, I do remember. I forgot about it, of course, but I remember that it was Harpo spelled backward kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Her network. Amazing. Thank you.
Oh, we're going to the news now.
Oh, that's an hour already?
Mm-hmm.
What the?
We'll finish your super chats next hour, I
yeah,
guess.
thank you all. We'll finish it when I come back. And back to the phones soon. 888-77 Jesse. One more hour to go. Hate news. Back in a moment. Rough lives. They're depressed. I didn't know we are suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand. I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
A whole lot of mess going on in the world. This is the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Bible Thumper Thursday, August 22nd, AD 2024. The U.S. military is in the Middle East. They're getting concerned because we've let things go run wild under Crooked Sleepy Joe. And also, they're letting HIV in the military. They used to be very strict. Now you can have even HIV and still get into the military. India's Modi went to Russia. Now he's going to Ukraine. Ukraine all jealous. Pumpkin spice is back earlier than ever. I've never had it. I disavow it. And Pink is going to sing at the DNC today. They've had some great shows, to be honest. Almost as good as Lee Greenwood. And so it's almost like going to church, except it's devilish, of course. Visit Afghanistan. The Taliban wants you to visit. And they're searching still, finding bodies, I think, after that super yacht sank from the Tornado water spout. What a mess. And Taylor Swift is thankful that they thwarted that terror attack, of course. That's kind of old news, but there's a quote about her. By the way, the lines are full. JLP will be right back to your calls, and we will get to the rest of your super chats, hopefully. Sooner or later, we definitely will. Okay? But first, it's fake news, not fake news. Speaking of Gaza, just to finish up that little story, how they're evacuating, the streets in Gaza appear littered with leaflets dropped by Israeli forces reiterating the order to evacuate. Finally, they're complying, I guess. Or maybe they've evacuated to different parts of Gaza, and now they need to get out of there completely. I don't know. Many residents now on the move had to evacuate multiple times, leaving them in a constant state of displacement and fear, says CNN. Nearly 84% of the enclave has been placed under evacuation orders since the start of the war, according to the evil UN, United Nations. And the U.S. is boosting forces in the Middle East as the region is bracing for a potential Iranian attack, according to U.S. Central Command. On Wednesday, the USS Abraham Lincoln, that's an aircraft carrier, I believe, carrier strike group, a group, maybe. They arrived in the region after it was ordered to accelerate their transit amid widespread concerns that Iran may retaliate against Israel for that assassination of the Hamas leader in Tehran. Separately, listen to this. A U.S. federal judge, or maybe cover your ears, kids. A U.S. federal judge ruled that the U.S. military cannot turn away enlistees who are HIV positive. U.S. District Judge Leonie Brinkema, Brinkema, said the Pentagon's ban on HIV-positive people seeking to enlist in the armed forces contributes to the ongoing stigma surrounding HIV-positive individuals while actively hampering the military's own recruitment goals. So said Leonie, Leonie Brinkema. What a mess, huh? What's he care about stigma? And he's born in 1944. Oh, it's a woman. Psh, appointed by Bill Clinton. A Bill Clinton judge. I told you he's the worst president. So anyway, that's that. And Modi. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And Nick Fuentes, 2028. How about that? We'll meet Polish leaders today before the expected visit to Ukraine on Friday. The Ukraine, perhaps I should say, like a based boomer. A first in the country's history. Modi's tour comes weeks after he traveled to Moscow, Russia, for talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, the most interesting man in the world to some, in a symbolic first bilateral visit between the India's prime minister's new term. Volodymyr Zelensky, not a Christian, he at the time described the meeting as a, quote, huge disappointment and a devastating blow to peace efforts. Like he cares about peace. Modi has repeatedly called for a ceasefire in Ukraine, nice, without condemning Russia. Nice. India has also abstained from all UN resolutions calling for Russia's withdrawal and condemning Putin's actions. Based India. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, Hour 3.
have to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what's been wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show already. Can you believe it? That's amazing. You can get involved by calling 888-7753, 773-888-77-JESSE. And my biblical question, what's going on earth? What's going on earth? I've been getting some amazing responses about this question. Nice. You can listen to the show. You can podcast. But if you're busy, you can listen on your phone. iPhone or iPad. No matter where you are and what you're doing in the whole wide world. By calling the listen line on TalkStream Live at 605-615-4131. That's 605-615-4131. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to Buy Me a Coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP Talk or Bond JLP Cash App. Excuse me. It is Thursday. It's the last hour of the show today. And every Thursday is and always will be Bible Thumper Thursday.
Oh, God! Oh, God! Are you ready? Are you ready? I don't feel your faith. Are you ready?
Hallelujah. Oh, God. In the Spirit is in the Word. What I want to do is play one soundbite. And then I want to go back to the phones and then Super Chats. There is this governor down in Louisiana. It was down in the Savannah. It was down in the Louisiana. This governor, it seemed as though he doesn't play. According to NBC, you might be aware of this. According to NBC, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry asked a suggestion for parents. No, I'm sorry. I'm reading it wrong. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry has a suggestion for parents who don't believe in the Ten Commandments. They don't believe that the Ten Commandments should be displayed in public school classroom throughout the state. And as a result, according to this report, the governor said, if you don't like it, tell your child not to look at them. Oh, God. He told a reporter this on Monday. Watch this soundbite.
I did not know that the Ten Commandments was such a bad way for someone to live their life. And I believe that the legislature was only following the will of the people of the state. Because when you look at the sheer votes that were cast in the support of this bill, It was done in a bipartisan support.
For the children who may not believe in God and see this in their classroom, or parents who are upset that may be in their child's classroom, what should they do?
Well, here's what I would say. I think we've forgotten in this country that democracy actually means majority rules. For some kind of way over the last 2 decades or so, for whatever reason, our government has flipped the script, or the people believe that we flipped the script. When you elect people, you elect them by a majority. That majority gets to rule. That does not mean that if you don't like something, you have a right to impose that which the majority likes. And so what I would say to those parents is that if those posters in school and they find them so vulgar, just tell the child not to look at it.
Nice. Don't mess with the South. I wonder if that was his wife standing there with her. She looked pretty scared. Like, don't say it, honey. That was back in August 5th. Don't look at it. If you don't like it, don't look at it. And one last quick soundbite. Remember how women believe they should be preachers? Lord have mercy. Even though we know it's not from God. And a woman should never be over a man. It's not in her to lead. And that she should never be a preacher. Yeah, that was back August 5th. Not last month. But anyway, well, according to this guy on X, he kind of explained why a woman should be a preacher. Here's a clip of Pastor John MacArthur of Grace Community Church explaining why women who pastor are disgraced and oppose the Word of God. Watch this from X.
Women who pastor, women who preach in a church are a disgrace, and they openly reflect opposition to the clear command of the Word of God. As in all the churches of the saints, the women are to keep silent in the churches. They're not permitted to speak. It's disgraceful for a woman to speak. It might be shocking to you to know this, but in a survey conducted in 2017, about 80% of Americans are comfortable with a female pastor. 62% of practicing Christians are open to women pastors. 27% of pastors across this country are women. This is an explosion. In 1960, 2% of clergy were women. The women's movement has basically just erupted in the church, and the last frontier for the movement is the evangelical church. Last frontier to fall victim to the rebellion of feminism along with cultural Marxism. Perhaps women pastors and women preachers are the most obvious evidence of churches rebelling against the Bible.
Wow. At least one white man around ain't afraid, other than Hake, and that's not afraid to tell the truth. What the? Good for him. Really. Good for him. I wonder how many members left right after that. He didn't care, apparently. Amazing. It's Bible Thumper Thursday. Bible Thumper Thursday. Let me go. There's one line open, 888-775-3773. Let me go to first-time caller, Austin, out of Florida. Austin, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
What's up, Jesse? How you doing?
All is well, Austin. Thanks for calling.
So I basically, I want to tell you the situation I'm going through. Pretty weird situation. So I just turned 20. I go to college. I live with my dad and my mom, my parents. Basically, my dad is a big follower of Dr. Umar, and he believes that black people should only be with other black people. But I don't actually like the black women in this city here.
Are you black?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
And I don't really like the black women in this city, and I'm more drawn to white women. The white women are drawn to me as well. So I don't really know what to do. And my dad said if I bring home another white woman that he's going to make me pay rent in his house. And I'm thinking about either moving out or I don't really know what to do.
And so your question for me is what?
What should I do?
Oh,
do you think that that's right what he's doing? Should I pay the rent or should I move out?
Well, one thing for sure, he's right in having you pay rent. You're grown now. You're a man. So if you don't want to pay rent to him, you should move out and just deal with life and grow up and do whatever you want to do. But he shouldn't, even if you were not dating white women, he shouldn't let you live there free, even though you're in college. Even while you're in college, you should be working and taking
I am
care.
working. I do have a job.
Oh.
I do have a job.
So yeah, you should definitely pay some rent. And why don't you like black women over there?
I don't know. They're just very ratchet. I haven't found like a decent common, decent black chick in my area. They're just all very ratchet.
Oh, I got you. Well, you should date whatever color woman you want. White, red, Chinese, whatever. That's on you. But your father have a right to say if he doesn't want that in his house or if he doesn't want you, you're going to have to pay rent. That's his house, and he has the right to do what he want to do in his house. And so...
I understand, but, do you think that, he never made me pay rent before, and now all of a sudden that I bring a white girl home, now all of a sudden I have to pay rent, and none of his other kids paid rent either. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. And none of them ever paid rent before me. And now that I bring home a white girl, all of a sudden I have to pay rent.
But what you do is your father say, okay, you're going to have to pay rent if you bring a white girl home. Just say, okay, I'll pay rent. Don't argue about it. Don't compare yourself to the other siblings. You got to live your life. And again, he's right in that you have to pay, whether you agree with it or not, or maybe his motives are not right, but you're in his house and you're a grown man, you can easily be on your own.
My relationship we've kind of been separated over the last year, I'd say, because of what's going on politically. And he's a really staunch supporter of, he really loved Barack Obama back in the day.
Yeah.
So he's going to support Kamala Harris. And I grew up around a bunch of white people, so I'm going to support Donald Trump. And we've been having arguments back and forth. And he wants me to vote for it. I think that's the part of it, and him wanting me to support Kamala Harris. And I don't really support Kamala Harris, but that's kind of what started the whole thing. And then when I brought the white girl home, it was kind of like... Yeah, that was the final straw. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
So, Austin, it's time. You're 20-something. You're grown. It's time to move out.
Yeah.
It's time for you to move out and start your life. Live your life.
Yeah, I know.
And then stop arguing with your father about anything. Don't try to prove anything to him. Do not argue with him about anything. He has a right to do it the way he wants to, and you have a right to do it the way you want to. But you got to move out so you can live your life.
Yeah, I got to find another. I have a part-time job right now. I got to find another part-time job.
Yeah, get a full-time job or 2 part-time job and go and live your life. And don't argue with your father about this because it's his house. And you're not a kid, so you're old enough to be on your own. And again, he has a right to do it his way in his house. So don't be angry with him about it.
I wouldn't say I'm really angry. It's more like confused.
But don't be confused. Just say, okay, Dad, I see what you want. I understand. I'm going to get my own place. Don't argue about it at all.
But should I still try to make the relationship better, or should I just leave and just because I feel like if I leave right now, which would probably be the best thing for me, I feel like I'd ruin the relationship with my father. You know what I mean?
If your father is going to go against you from growing up and going out and doing your thing, you don't have a relationship anyway. It's not a good relationship. And you should never, the one thing I want you to remember, as long as you live, you're young, you should never, ever, 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 but never try to make a relationship work with anyone, with your parents, if you get married, when you're dating your girlfriend, your wife. Don't ever try to make a relationship work. Either it works naturally on its own or it doesn't happen. And so you,
I got you.
you just don't be angry at your father, and forgive him before you leave for whatever anger you may, or just whatever anger you may have toward him. Forgive him and forgive your mother, so that you won't have anger, and you will see clearly there's never a reason to be angry. You'll be fine.
All right, I gotta pray on it or something, man. I gotta figure out something to do. But I like the advice that you just gave me, though, Jesse. I like the advice.
Yeah,
But,
don't be angry at your parents about anything. They have especially in their home. Again, I'm repeating myself. You're a grown man. You really have no business living at home at this age, right? And then when
I mean, statistics show that a bunch of kids my age live at home. But I understand what you're saying. I need to grow up. I understand what you're saying, but yeah.
But you're right. Another caller called earlier. He was saying the same thing. You're right. The stats are showing that men are staying home now rather than moving out. But if you notice, as men are staying home, society is becoming weaker. The men are becoming...
They are.
And the men are becoming weaker. Society men are not functioning. Men are the light of the world. And if you're not out there letting your light shine, then only darkness is in the world. And the women and the children will suffer for that.
Yeah, I think a lot of men are becoming more feminine now. I'm never that kind of person, but feminism is ruining the world right now. Like everything that's going on right now is because of feminism. If we elect Kamala Harris, that's what I was telling him. If we elect Kamala Harris, it's going to be way worse for strong men.
It's going to be worse than, you're right about that, man. And it's going to be worse than what you and I can even imagine. It really it's going to be hell on earth. And, but feminism is causing a major problem in the country and in the world. But it's because men are not the light. This couldn't happen because the authority is in the man. It's not in the woman. It's in the father. It's in the man. But if the men were to stand up and speak up, don't be angry, and just deal with life, then feminism could not do what it is doing either.
Exactly. That's why we need the Great White Hope back, right?
Yo, great.
I watched one.
You go ahead.
I watched one of your shows back. I mean, I think it was last week, and I heard you call Donald Trump the Great White Hope. So we guess we need the Great White Hope back, right?
Let me see what the Great White Hope has to say.
Oh, Don, you're a little controversial. You're talking about illegal immigration. I said it's illegal.
Amazing. The Great White Hope. Thank you, Austin. Call me again. I got to run, but don't be angry at your parents. Forgive them. And then if your father said, well, you bring a white girl here, you got to move, don't argue about it at all. Just say, oh, okay, I understand that. I'll find me a place. But don't be angry.
All right. Thank you, Jesse. Bye, Daddy.
I wish you well, man. 888-7753. 773-888-77. Jesse. Super Chat. Super.
Over on buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, Richard bought a non-pithy coffee. Hello, Jesse and Co. You asked me to call in with my questions, but I live in Melbourne, Australia.
Oh.
And the show starts at 11 p.m. and it goes until 2 a.m. their time.
11 p.m. at night?
Mm-hmm.
What the?
And so it's like 1:20 in the morning over there.
I understand. We'll work with you on this. Thank you very much.
You asked me to call in, but I live in Melbourne, and it's difficult because of time. You mentioned that you don't know how I separate the awareness of the thought with the awareness of the content of the thought. I'll try to be pithy with my query. Try and fail. I can report.
Thank you.
When I'm having a thought, the real me is unconscious and cannot see that I'm having a thought and cannot see the contents of the thoughts. The not me gets taken away into the emotions and has a brief holiday in hell. It's only when the real me realizes that thoughts are happening and I then become conscious. At that point, the real me wants to see what the thoughts were about, that I have to try to replay and remember them. When I stay with the silent prayer day and night, the thoughts happen spontaneously, I then become aware that I have had a thought and bring myself back to now, in the present consciousness. It's only when I think about the thoughts that I can be aware of the content. Question: if having a thought is being unconscious, how can I be aware that I'm having a thought or be aware of the content of the thoughts? How can unconsciousness and consciousness happen at the same time?
I don't understand the question because I don't know how you're going to separate the content of the thought from the thought. Because when you have a thought, you're thinking. And when you're thinking about something. I don't know how you separate one from the other.
You're welcome, Richard. You're thinking about this too much, maybe.
Yeah, you're putting too much thinking into it, Richard. Don't put any thought into thinking. You're putting too much into it to the point it doesn't even make sense. You can't separate the content of the thought from the thought. The thought and the content are one. And don't be trying to figure thoughts out either. Just watch them, and you shall know. You'll come to understand them. You would know what's going on if you were to just watch the thoughts. That's all you need to do. Don't put all that effort into it. And I understand that you live in another country over there. So thank you for it.
Down under.
Your super chat. Way down under. Amazing. Thank you.
Speaking of thoughts, I think that he's trying to think back to what his thoughts were sometimes. And I don't think it's not important to think back to what they were.
You want to just let them pass and give them no thought. Let them pass.
I feel like maybe God will remind you what your thought was, and then you realize, oh, that was the thought that I believed.
Yeah.
That threw me off. But God may do that and not you.
Not you, yeah.
Thinking that.
Yeah, he put too much into it. Relax, buddy. You're putting too much into it.
Thank you, Richard.
And you wearing James down trying to read all that. Keep it piffy.
People call from Australia. People call at 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Rochelle bought 3 coffees. James, remember that song? James. Sounds familiar. Joelle, you remember that song? Joelle. I don't totally get it, but I somewhat get it. And I'm not sure if I'm doing my Joelle impression correctly, but that's how Rochelle wrote it and how I'm reading how she wrote it. Or he. Thank you, sir. Or ma'am.
These guys never remember. They were like born too late. So they don't remember the old songs that I sing sometimes. And so I ask you if you remember the song. You don't remember.
Right. Yeah, I only listen to Christian music, and Joel only listens to rap.
And Nick lives to Mexican music.
Yeah.
Or something. Somebody said something about something. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Katerina, 3 coffees. What on earth is going on? Triple clicks.
What's going on earth?
The veil of the seen and the unseen is getting thinner, so we are able to see the evil in action.
Amazing. Thank you for responding. I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday to the biblical question. Thank you.
Reese Niederbear bought a diamond. If the government hates you and Donald J. Trump in government, then Donald J. Trump hates you?
Repeat that?
If the government hates you and Donald J. Trump is in the government, then does Donald J. Trump hate you?
Well, Donald Trump loves you because he's not trying to save you. He's trying to make it comfortable for you to function on earth. That's love. It's like parents prepare their children to grow up and function on earth, and they ought to be around and try to save them or anything. That's what Donald Trump, he's just making it comfortable for you to function, but not try to save you from you. Whereas all the other politicians are lying to you. They pretend that they're trying to save you. Isn't it amazing? Evil people trying to save evil people. What the? Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Reese Niederbear. Yeah, the government.
You.
He's just his point. Your point was that the government is made up of evil people, just like you and me.
Yeah, it's no different. They just have a different job. That's all. They have a job called senator, congressman. You may have a job called doctor, lawyer, a nurse, or a teacher. But the spirit is the same. All human nature is evil. So the government, the people in government are evil. What the? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Reese Niederbear.
Yeah.
Greenwall with a coffee. Jesse, when you were growing up, did people play sports on Sunday, or was the entire day dedicated to the Holy Sabbath? I ask because these days Christians play sports even on Sunday mornings. I cracked. Even on Sunday mornings.
That's a good question. Did people play? I don't remember them playing sports on Sundays. But I don't remember them saying, well, we're not playing sports on Sunday because it's the Sabbath. It's just that I think Sunday seemed to be more of a relaxed, go to church, take it easy, get ready for Monday kind of a day. But no, I don't remember people play. Maybe they did. I just don't remember them playing sports on Sundays.
I remember in Chariots of Fire, that classic movie.
Yeah.
Eric Liddell, the Olympic athlete, said, "I do not run on the Sabbath." And so he refused to compete on a Sunday.
When is the Sabbath?
Well, some people call it Sunday, but I call it Saturday. But church is for Sunday. Resting is for Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah. But he didn't want to run on Sunday because he's Christian.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't remember them playing on Sunday, though. That's for sure. I don't remember it. That's a good question, though. Thank you.
Takeshi Hiroshaki bought a coffee. Question, Jesse, do you like Michael Jackson, King of Pop? I think he was amazing. Have you ever met him? By the way, it's a spiritual battle. No such thing as sexism, homophobiaism, deadbeat dadism, Islamophobiaism, anti-Semitism, Allahu Akbar-ism, making Jesus Christ your Lord and Savior-ism. There is only right and wrong, good versus evil.
Amazing. Thank you. I like Michael's music. Yeah. And where is he?
In heaven.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You never met him?
No, I never met him. Oh, I didn't meet him. I didn't meet him, but I do. I remember when I lived in Indiana, they were little kids too, and I was a young teenager. I remember them playing. They would rehearse in this garage in an alley right next to my uncle and aunt's house. So we used to go over there and watch them rehearse sometime in the alley of the garage. And they were little kids. I never thought they would be so famous and all that. But we knew at the time that the music was good.
Nice.
But they were just little kids. So I met him that way, but I never just met him in person. I don't know him. Thank you.
Thank you, Takeshi.
Yeah.
You did interview his brother on The Fallen State.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I interviewed his brother. Check out the interview with his brother on the fallenstate.tv. Jermaine, right?
No, somebody Jackson.
One of those Jackson out of the 5. Thank you.
Derek bought a coffee. Should the question be what's going on around the earth, or are you coming to see the truth that it's flat? What do you think, Jesse, with an E?
I say on the earth.
What's going on earth?
On earth.
By the way, I don't think it's to be with a comma.
Who
on the
put
biblical question.
I know, I didn't either. I thought that. I was like, I wonder why they put it. I thought you did that.
No, I didn't do that.
Derek did it.
When in doubt, leave it out.
Derek did it.
Yeah, I didn't tell him anything either.
Because he black.
Yeah.
Is he a DEI hire?
No, he's not actually.
Oh.
Yeah. He just has DEI grammar, sentence structure, punctuation.
What was that word he was telling me in my ear that was wrong?
Oh, yeah, Atola.
Ayatollah.
Ayatollah.
He black. Amazing.
9 coffees from Jack Bennett, 32. Trump, 2024. Train flags emoji versus the deep state communist plantation newspaper and siren emojis. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you. Nice.
And we're going to
come back. The treasure chest is now open on D Live. Back in a moment. So I asked the question, are you better than a child molester? I've discovered over the 30 years of counseling, the one thing that's missing the one thing that's missing, and I think because it's not taught in the homes or talked about, we don't have examples of it, right, is love. Our theme this year is to bring back Christianity, to love God with all our heart, soul, and might, our neighbor as ourselves, and to endure. And when you're in a fallen state, people will judge the molester but think they're better than the molester. And I ask, well, why do you think you're better? When I realized it doesn't matter what you think about yourself or how much you have or don't have or how you accomplish things in life or don't. If you have no love, you have nothing. Okay, welcome back. 888-7753-773. Get ready. The Hake Report is coming up at the top of this hour. The Hake, H-A-K-E report. You don't want to miss it. At 9 a.m. from 9 to 11. And after the Hake Report, Joel Friday TV, he black. At 11 a.m., he's on fire. And at 12 noon, the American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor Baby at 4 p.m. today. I said 12 noon. That was the old time. The new time is 4 p.m. Pacific time. The American Anchor Baby. You do not want to miss it. And we get a chance to check out PunchieTV. It's amazing. Our own network. We're building a 24-hour network. PUNCHIE.TV. All right, check it out. Some good stuff up there for you already. Here's an example of it. Let's give them a quick example of what's there.
Be that as it may, but some of the greatest people are insane. Vincent van Gogh cut his ear off and sent it to a woman. And
Who
he was
that?
like one of the best painters in the world.
He was white?
Yeah.
Well, no wonder.
He might have been from the Netherlands like her.
He cut his ear off and sent it. Trump could have used that ear.
I know. Some of the greatest achievements by athletes are those who suffer great loss and grief because they have passion. But luckily for them, at least in a worldly sense, they have a lot of discipline too.
Amazing. Archie. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Subscribe, all right? I appreciate it. Hey, do you believe that your dog can pray before his meal?
Yeah, I think it's possible. If you're a godly owner.
What does that mean?
An owner who is a man of God.
So you believe that your dog can pray and should pray? Well, I'm going to ask, you believe the dog can pray?
A dog who is under the proper order is always praying.
And
yes.
you believe a dog should pray before meal?
Well, now you're making me question myself. Yeah, sure.
Well, apparently and evidently, they changed the dog thing way too far. They taking the joke about the dog relationship too far. This is from TikTok. A TikTok user has gone viral for having a dog that refused to eat before it pray. Watch this.
Y'all don't believe me? Go eat it. Matter of fact, because y'all don't believe me. Look. Go. Go. Eat it. Eat it. Like you need to pray, right? You need to pray. You need to pray, right?
Yes,
Look,
please.
I'm going to try one more time. Go eat it. Amen. Go. Crazy. Look, I can push him. No. Okay, all right, hold on. Have some patience, okay? Thank you. God is good. God is great. Let us thank him for our food. By his hands, we all are fed. Thank you, Lord, for daily bread. Amen.
The dog held hands with the black woman, Christian.
Yeah.
That's nice.
What's nice about it?
That the dog is kind of like trained to pray first.
And you believe the dog knows that it's praying.
That dog looked like Jake Hake, like a little version of Jake Hake. Was it like a black lab, right? Beautiful black lab.
Who is Jake Hake?
My dog, my dad's dog.
Oh.
When I was a kid.
And
but Jake didn't pray.
And you don't believe that? I'll have it as proof. But this woman trained this dog. Somebody trained this dog before they made it to the video.
Right.
And this dog just trained to be that way, then go eat.
That's good discipline, though. That the dog's not going to eat until it does its little ritual thing.
He ain't praying.
But neither are we when we're sitting around praying before the meal.
He's just doing what he been trained
I
to
never
do.
liked to eat before we always prayed sat around the table, held hands, and prayed.
And so were you a dog?
Maybe.
And you were trained to do that?
Yeah.
Dog for Jesus.
And you believe the dog prayed?
Well, it sat there and waited while the prayer happened.
Do you think
while
the dog,
words were said before it ate?
Do you think the dog knew that lady was praying?
All right, that's a different question. No.
Joel said dogs are spiritual, Jesse.
I don't think that it's that much different from how we are, though. When we're sitting around the table.
Because human beings are
before.
in an animal nature. I mean, an animal state. So you're in the animal nature, you're going to act like a dog.
Because we
The dog is not acting like you. You're acting like the dog because you're in an animal state.
Because it felt off if we didn't pray before the meal when I was a kid.
Right. But if you had never been taught to pray before the meal, you would not have felt off.
Right.
You were trained.
Indeed.
So I don't think that's real at all. The dog had no clue about prayer. I just say, without proof, you were well trained before they videotaped it.
Well trained or poorly trained?
Well, they were poorly trained to pray.
He even lifted up his paw because he wanted the woman to
That's
grab
part
his
of
paw.
the training. That's why he knows it's time to go eat. Before they made that video, I believe, without proof, they put a food there. They made the dog learn to hold the hand with him, and then go feed him.
Yeah, she wouldn't let him. She probably wouldn't let him eat.
Right.
Until
this dog been trained. This
pray
dog
first.
This dog don't know about no prayer.
Nice.
It'd be funny if we found out during the training that every time I went to go eat without praying, she'd like spray water or shock it,
hit him,
and then hit him. And now it's like, wow, what a godly dog.
And Joel said, then why is dog spelled backward? It's God, Jesse. Why is dog spelled backward? God. It's called God. What does that have to do with it? What the?
Because people have it backwards and they worship the dog instead of God.
Evidently.
And that was an inside dog. It was inside the house. That was a bizarre sight when I was a kid.
Yeah. Nasty. And do you believe the earth is flat or round?
I know it's a ball. Like Sean, your greatest producer,
right,
knew that it's flat. He's soon to be surpassed by Derek, but
Sean knew for sure it was flat.
yeah,
It wasn't even up for question.
right. And I say it's an obvious globe.
So you believe it's round?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. You believe it's round, Anchor Baby?
Bill says it's round. That's all I need.
That what Bill said?
Yep.
It's done.
Yep.
God,
Bill knows.
God has spoken. Bill knows. The engineer, he knows. Well, what does the Bible say about flat earth? Here's a clip. that my producer put together. My producer, Derek, believed the earth is flat, right? And here's a clip my producer found on YouTube that summarizes where the confusion lies. Watch this from YouTube.
Does the Bible teach the earth is flat? In a word, no. You'd think that if the Bible so clearly teaches the earth is flat, there'd be a verse somewhere that says the earth is flat, but there is no such verse. People on either side of this argument like to quote Isaiah 40:22, which begins talking about the Lord. It is He who sits above the circle of the earth. Flat earthers say this is a circle, this is not a circle. Well, which is it? Now, the problem is, in translation, the word there used in Hebrew actually refers to something round. If you ask the average person what shape the earth is, they will say it's round, meaning this. Of course, flat earthers say no, they believe the earth is round, meaning this. Turns out Isaiah 40:22 refers to something round. So does it mean this or it means that? We don't know. It's a bit ambiguous. I guess saying it's something round or circular would be closer to the truth.
I rest my case.
Nice.
Case rested.
And he held up a CD because the flat earthers, most of them don't think it's a square earth. Most of them think it's circular, like a disc with a tortoise underneath it holding it up. And then, I don't know about the tortoise. And then the rest of us know that it's obviously a ball, like a baseball. Sweet. Or like this puffed up globe that JLP is holding up. He held up a flat earth model, and now he's holding up the globe. The blow up globe that was sent to us by a flat earther. And Sean really aggressively deflated this ball, but then he blew it back up for us.
Nice. Amazing. I rest my case. Derek still believes it's flat. Once you're a flat earther, you're always a flat earther, I guess. Thank you all. Let me go quickly to the phones here.
Does the Bible teach the earth is flat?
Sorry.
Anna from Canada, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Greetings from Canada.
Thank
It's so nice to speak to you, Jesse. I hope all is well with you.
All is well, Anna. Same for you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yes, my question is, I have been doing the silent prayer morning and night, and I have to say it's amazing.
Amazing.
But here's the thing. As I'm going about my day, I often feel the urge to acknowledge God, to like converse with God, to say something, to speak with God. And I don't know, is that like, should we be doing that, or is that like coming from the real us, or is that the not me?
Well, you can do it. It's just your training. You've been trained to do that. And so Satan used those, he reminds you of those words that you've been trained to pray to God with. And so he brings them to your thoughts and you feel like you want to do it. If you don't call it right or wrong, just notice that you're doing it. Eventually, you'll see and you'll stop doing it.
It just give it time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I know that we really don't even know what to ask for.
Right. Yeah, you don't know what you want. You don't know what you need. Only God knows. And so we don't need to be asking for those things. But we've been taught, we've been trained, we're like animals, and we're just repeating what we've been taught.
Yes, we had to memorize certain prayers in school. Or even when you go to church, like, they'll get you to come up to the pulpit and say a prayer, and you're racking your brain to say something.
That's right.
And it's not natural at all.
Absolutely. So let it go, but if you find yourself doing it, don't make it a big deal. Don't judge it.
Right. Fantastic. That's all I needed to know.
All right. Thank you, Anna.
And all the best to you guys, and keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for your support.
You're welcome. Take care, Jesse.
All right. Bye now. 888-775-3773. First time caller in out of Connecticut. Ian, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi there. I got it on speakerphone right now. I apologize. Let me turn that off.
Okay.
So, thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
So I spent the last 3 years working on forgiving my father and my mother, and I have an older brother who was really abusive, and so him too. And it went pretty well, and then my brother recently went psychotic, and so I kind of threw a wrench in it, but I still forgive him. But what I'm struggling with the most is forgiving myself and my wife.
You say you have a self and your wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife, I've been with her for 25 years, and we have 3 kids, a kid in college, and I've been like emotionally abusive to her.
And why? And why?
What's that?
Why?
Why? Well, after I got to know her, I felt like head over heels for her. I had never felt that way, and I know you'll have stuff to say about that, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean when I say that.
Yes.
And we made the horrible mistake of disclosing our sexual history, and hers crushed me, and I never got over it.
Oh, yeah, that's why couples are not supposed to discuss their past with anyone, because the ego will not let you forget.
Yep. Yeah, I can't forget it. And so I've been I just bottled it up for years, and then after we're together for 5 years, I just fucking unloaded on her. And then a couple of years later it happened again. But it was bad. It was she's like, you have to go to therapy, because it was 3 months of this continuous me being a psycho.
Why did you think you need to what made you discuss with her past history, sexual history? Why was that even necessary?
Well, I don't think that's here or there, but she brought it up. And at first I was like, I don't think I want to do this.
Yeah.
And then later on, it just sort of happened. And it was a bad idea.
And so your question for me is what?
Well, I've been I'm not. She's not a disciplinarian with my children, with our children.
All right.
So I have to do most of the disciplining, and so sometimes I go overboard. I don't hit my kids. I don't scream in their face, but I get angry.
Yeah.
And when I'm angry, I'm scary. So I've scared my children a number of times, and I can't forgive myself for it.
And so your question is what?
How do I forgive myself?
And who is the self that you have forgiven?
Me.
And who are you?
I don't know.
You don't know who you are?
I don't know how to answer that question.
And the reason I'm asking because I want you to know there is no self to forgive. And when you're angry, yelling at the kids or at your wife or what she's told you, that is not you doing that. It's just an evil spirit that has made a home in your mind and body. It caused you to do it, and then it judges you, it accuses you, and tells you you're an awful person. Look at you, you're yelling at your own kids, you're yelling at your wife. And it reminds you of the things that your wife told you about her sexual life. And it played all you're doing wrong is that you're listening to thoughts that's bringing on these feelings, and you believe that is you, but it's not you at all. And if you want to overcome this, you got to just let every thought pass. Stop listening to them. Stop calling them you, because I promise you, it is not you at all. You don't make yourself remember that. You don't those things. You don't make yourself angry at your children. You're possessed with evil spirits in your mind, and you think it's you. There is no you to forgive or be angry at because you have never done anything wrong. How can you do something wrong when there is no you? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you think about that?
It's interesting.
Just think
I mean,
about.
I kind of get it. I get it to a degree.
Yeah, well, that small degree of getting it is the light of God that is allowing you to see that those thoughts are not you, those feelings are not you. And if you stay with it in the light, stay present, it's going to get brighter and brighter, and all those thoughts and all those emotions will disappear. They'll be taken away from you, out of your body, out of your mind, by God. And then they will be no more. You'll be free. You will have a clear mind, and you would never remember what your wife said or anything. Or if you remember, it wouldn't bother you at all. It would just be facts that you remember if you want to share it with somebody, but it will have no effect on you. Right now, you're being affected by evil spirits that are bringing these things to your remembrance, and you're thinking that you. It's not you. You have no reason to feel guilty because you have not done anything wrong, I promise you. You're just living in your imagination. Come out of your thoughts. Come out of the imagination.
Yeah, I definitely agree that I have to do that.
That's the only way you're going to survive. You got to come out of the darkness into the light. You're listening to evil spirits, calling them in. Never call them you again. Don't say, I feel this. And even though you may feel the pain in the body for a while, but don't say you. It's in the body, but it's not in you.
Yeah.
You're not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. You're not your body.
So what am I?
When you let go of this false self, these thoughts and feelings and bodies and all that, stop identifying with all that, the real you will appear, and you will remember in again. You just forgot who you are when you were traumatized by your mother. You don't remember who you are, but you will remember again when you overcome the false self. You're not those emotions. You're not any of those things, but you got to overcome them. Have you forgiven your mother?
Yeah, I mean, she died when I was 15, so I can't do it in person. But
just realize she can help herself. How about your father?
No, I haven't.
And why not?
Because I'm just bitter and angry. He I mean, I could tell you all the reasons why. I don't know if it matters, but he abandoned me and my sister after our mother died. So I just,
Yeah, well,
I just hold on to that. I hold on to anger.
You got to go to him and forgive him. He could not help himself. You are suffering not because he abandoned you. You're suffering not because your mother died at such a young age for you. You're suffering because you're angry and your heart is evil, and the evil is the nature of the devil. But when you forgive, your father can help himself, your mother, just like you can't help yourself. Something that is driving you is not you. They can help themselves. Forgive your father, God will forgive you, and you'll be fine.
Yep, I agree with all that.
So work on yourself, man, and stop accepting this idea that you got to forgive yourself. It's not you. God knows that. He knows you've never done anything wrong, so he's not accusing you. That's the devil accusing you. Evil makes you do wrong and then accuse you for doing wrong, and you think it's you. Are you doing the silent prayer in?
I do it. I don't do it consistently, but I do it.
Well, get serious about your life. Start working on you so everything can be made clear for you. Then you'll pass down love, real love, to your wife and children, and they'll be fine.
All right.
Apologize to your wife for being so cruel, and then just cut it out. Just quietly work on yourself, all right?
All right, thank you.
Let me know how it goes, Ian.
Okay.
All right, go and forgive your father, man, and let go of the false self. You stop calling yourself any of those things.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I am out of time. I wanted to finish those super chats. I can finish them, but I will do them the first thing in the morning if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise tomorrow. You're possessful. You don't want to know it. You don't want to admit it. You don't agree, but you're possessed, whether you see it or not. That's why you're so cruel to yourself and others. It's not you. Something else is driving you in the mind and in emotion. Just think about it. Why would you want to naturally be cruel to yourself and others? You're possessed in the mind and in the body, but it's not you. You're not those things, all right? Do the silent prayer, rebuildingtheman.com/prayer. Forgive your mama. Don't let anyone talk you out of forgiving your mama and your daddy. Don't let the devil tell you not to forgive your mama. He want to keep you locked up and his little demons, right? Forgive your parents, and you will be fine. It's a spiritual battle. Do the prayer. Hate is coming up now. TheHateReport.com. And then Joel Friday TV at 11 a.m. right after the Hate Report. And then American Acre Baby. Like, follow, ring the bell. Do all the social media stuff. Share. Ring the bell. And thank you for your support. We will do the super chats tomorrow. Have a good one, folks. And to the callers, I'm out of time. It's Open Line Friday tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll move even more calls. Take care, folks. Bye. So I asked the question, are you better than a child molester? I've discovered over the 30 years of counseling, the one thing that's missing, and I think because it's not taught in the homes or talked about, we don't have examples of it, right, is love. Our theme this year is to bring back Christianity, to love God with all our heart, soul, and might, our neighbor as ourselves, and to endure. And when you're in a fallen state, people will judge the molester but think they're better than the molester. And I ask, well, why do you think you're better? When I realized it doesn't matter what you think about yourself or how much you have or don't have or how you accomplish things in life or don't. If you have no love, you have nothing. I have books that are amazing. I highly recommend you get them. 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success Guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They're using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663.